Man, let's start this off right. LeBron James is Charmin soft. He is weak sauce, lame brain, dodo head, cotton picking ninny muggins. He's such a baby. He's such a baby. And there's so many times. I gotta calm my nerves because we won, boy. But LeBron James, man, I can't take that guy. I literally cannot take him. Right before the half, when he just throws a bow into Lauri Markkanen's chest and doesn't get a foul when it should have been an offensive foul, says the F word to the ref and, should have called it, cries his way to the locker room. It's like, bro, you get every call, you barrel people over, and you want a foul to be called against the person that you're running over. I'm so glad we won this game. I'm so glad we won this game. It was a great birthday present, and the Jazz came out on top, 130-116. It was a little more stressful for me. I don't know if I just really wanted to win this bad. I predicted that we would win by 500, so we scored 130. I think that counts in my book. I covered the 500 points for sure. Russel Westbrook goes off on us. You can tell he hates the Utah Jazz. He seems to always go off on us. He had 28 points. I believe he shot, let's look this up real quick, 3 for 4, maybe 3 for 5 from the 3-point line. And the dude's shooting 20% from 3-point line. And then he makes 3 in a row on us. What a game. The Jazz figured it out. You could tell that the lineup was a little more tight tonight. I get the feeling that this was not a game that Will Hardy wanted to lose or the Jazz organization. If you're a true Jazz fan, you're not a fan of the Lakers. And I wanted to win this game so bad. Now, Lauri Markkanen, I got to start saying his name Lauri because that's how you say it, not Lauri. So Lauri, you guys catch me if I say it wrong. He led us with 27 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, a block. He guarded LeBron James majority of the game, and I think it really bothered LeBron. I don't think LeBron is still the player that he used to be, but you could tell the length with Lauri was bothering him. And it wasn't so much being physical, it was just the strength. As you saw towards the end of the game, he was trying to post up Lauri, and Lauri was keeping his ground, and LeBron just did that like 4 or 5 foot little fadeaway and came up short right on the edge of the rim. And that spoke volumes to me on what Lauri was actually doing to LeBron. Anthony Davis finishes with 22. LeBron finishes with 17. You've got Lonnie Walker, man. That guy's I really like how Lonnie Walker plays, and especially since he got a haircut since he played in San Antonio, he's even more likable because if you remember, he was that guy that had the hair flopping down in his face. But a good team win. Rudy Gay gets 10 minutes. Sexton got a lot of minutes. I was not impressed with Sexton nor Vanderbilt. And I tweeted this out. Hang on, let me request Jazzketball. Oh, what up, Carson? Hang on just a sec. I'm glad you're here. I tweeted out earlier, maybe Vanderbilt just is not a smart player. And the reason I say that is we have that breakaway, I believe at halftime or the third quarter. I think it was the end of the third quarter, 6 seconds left. We stopped them, threw it ahead. There's 1 second. He has a wide open shot. He just needs to go up and dunk it. And he kicks it to the corner and time runs out. And that's not the first time it's happened this season. And then his fouls, man. He just I want to like Vanderbilt so bad because He's so long and athletically gifted, but I just am getting the feeling that he is not the smartest of players, especially with the fouls that he gets. This is awesome that we have so many listeners. Maybe it's because it's after a Lakers game. If you guys want to request to speak or leave a comment down below, I'm more than happy to let you guys speak. But Dallin, go ahead. What's your take, bro?
I was just listening to Lakers post game for a little bit, and they were just drooling over Markkanen and telling their viewers that Markkanen just wasn't in the right system in Cleveland and Chicago, and we've all reiterated that same thing, that Will Hardy's really brought out the best in Lauri Markkanen. So just good game all around from the team. Really high scoring. At halftime, I was just like, if we just play a little defense, I think we can win this game. So because everybody was just scoring at will like crazy.
Yeah, it felt like both teams weren't really playing very much defense. The score showed that at 130-116. The 3-point percentage for both teams was about the same, 42%, but we shot 43 pointers and they only shot 26. Again, with the assist, I mentioned this last time. If we can hit that 30 mark, we had 31 assists. They only had 22. And then turnovers, we only had 7 turnovers and they had 11. If for some reason it felt like we had more than that, but again, I think I was kind of anxious with this game and wanting to beat the Lakers. But Jeffrey Hornacek, let's get your take, buddy, because I've been begging you to get on Twitter Spaces, and here you are.
Just real quick, LeBron looks old, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Dallin, you stole my biggest takeaway from the game. That was the biggest takeaway from tonight. I felt was LeBron looks sluggish, and granted, he's been in the league 20 years. Anybody would look sluggish at that point.
But is there a bit for me? I think he's my most hated player, just because he's always on commercials and they're always talking about him, and it's just like, yeah, he was great, but he's not anymore, and I hate Michael Jordan because Michael Jordan's always killed us. But like the debate, to me, LeBron's not even the greatest player of this generation. It's Steph Curry. So why are we comparing him to Jordan? And he's so whiny, man.
Hello? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Are you wanting to talk? Now you're muted, bud. Bubba, unmute. Or maybe you want to be muted. But Walker Kessler got 11 minutes. I thought they were really effective minutes. I really missed Walker Kessler and what he was able to do. He scored 8 minutes in the 11, or sorry, 8 minutes, 8 points in the 11 minutes, had 2 blocks, and he's just like, he's a force in there. I kind of like that Coach Hardy switched it up and didn't leave him in. I thought that we switched the lineups perfectly. I thought Talen Horton-Tucker had a good game. Sexton's another one where I get the feeling that Coach Hardy gets frustrated very easily by Collin Sexton. There was a play that he was just screaming, Collin! And I don't know if Collin just like wasn't paying attention or what. But does anybody else get that feeling that Hardy is just frustrated with Sexton? And it almost feels like Sexton's confidence is not there compared to previous years.
I want to, I with Collin Sexton, I think, Coach wants him to take what he's learning and put it out on the game. And I feel like it's not translating as much for him because he just tends to always resort to what he's good at and is just driving with his head down to the basket and not looking for the pass as he's driving. So,
yeah, there was that play where he drove really hard to the basket. There was like 3 players that collapsed on him, and he threw it up there. It partially got blocked, but hit the rim, and Lauri Markkanen put it back. But it's plays like that where it's like, dude, if you would, you're wasting so much energy by just trying to get the shot up. If you almost just slowed down or looked for other players when the defense collapses on you, you would make it so much easier on yourself. So I've really liked Vanderbilt and Sexton, but I felt myself getting frustrated with them this game. Just the decision making. And usually I'm that way with Taylor Horton Tucker and his decision making, but I thought he played a really good game. He had some plays on defense where he just stood in front of them. I think it was a game for Tucker that, he wanted to show LA, like, you traded me away for some old guy. So I think he had a little extra motivation coming from the Lakers. But yeah, I was impressed with him. And Nickeil Alexander-Walker comes in again for 7 minutes, gets 6 points, plus 10. And I like Nickeil Alexander-Walker too. Who stood out to you guys, or what stood out to you in this game? Because man, it just felt like one that was very important for us, but also very important for them. They just came off 2 wins. They want to prove that they're not as bad as they are. We want to prove that we're as good as we have been. What stands out to you guys?
They are not following the trend of the rest of the NBA of crashing the offensive boards. And I think that turns around and bites them in the rear because the rest of the NBA is gone. It's an uptick in offensive rebounding, and the Lakers don't do hardly any of it. And I'm guessing it's just because they have a lot of older players that just don't want to hustle to get the rebound. And but they're a bad team, man. They gotta shake some things up, but they're pretty bad. So
you gotta love it, though. You gotta love it as a Jazz fan.
I do.
So yes, on the offensive boards,
years were insane.
On the offensive boards, we had 14 to their 9. Defensive boards, we had 33. They had 32. And in total, we out rebounded them by 6, 47 to 41. So, it kind of goes back to, like, man, there were so many rebounds that we played good defense and weren't able to come up with it. Who else?
What's up, guys?
Yeah, sorry, let me see who's talking.
It's Tajan.
Tajan, what's up, man?
Yep. Yo, what's up, guys? Congrats to everybody out there. It's always good to get a dub, especially against LeBron. As far as I was gonna actually say this earlier about Sexton. I think he's trying to be like the Donovan Mitchell of this team. I'm getting those type of vibes now.
Yeah.
And I don't know the future of Clarkson. If they're gonna trade him away, he's gonna go. I guess Sexton is gonna be the go-to guy in this team. So I don't know if we'll see how Hardy's gonna play the system. Who's gonna be right now? It's kind of like Clarkson and Sexton right now as far as our go-to guys. But today everybody played pretty good. I mean, there was no defense played on either side really, but we were shooting lights out. Alexander, Nickeil, he played pretty good, contributed. Kessler did well. Markkanen was a lot more confident. But, of course, I want to see that against a team like the Dallas game. Like, the Dallas is a much better athletic team. They're a lot in-your-face type of team. That's where these guys need to really, down the stretch, really make those buckets. But today was a good day for us.
Yeah, I like Collin Sexton as a change of pace guy that leads the second unit. But I think Lauri Markkanen and Mike Conley and Jordan Clarkson are good go-to guys in the first unit for sure. So
Yeah, that I like the unit he had in at the last game. So hang on real quick. Hardy is talking, so we're gonna butt in on his interview. He's been talking for a little while, so give me just a sec, guys.
While we were in the half court, I think, you know, every night we're getting more familiar with each other as a group. The players are getting more familiar with me during the games, and you know, my communication to them about what we want to do on both ends. So, you know, we threw some different things out there tonight, and our guys executed great.
You mentioned the turnovers, and I guess what led to that?
I thought we just did a good job of making our decisions a little bit earlier. In some of the previous games, I thought we got a little bit too deep in the paint. We were probably like a dribble and a half late, if that makes sense, making our decisions on our kickouts. And I thought tonight we kept it simple and just took what the game gave us. And so our decisions were a dribble earlier on every attack, and I think it allowed us to play in space a little bit. And 7 turnovers is a great number for us, for sure.
The challenge goes from, it would have been 8-point lead to a double-digit lead on Jordan's goaltending call.
Mm-hmm.
And then right after that is when Mike Conley just kind of seemed like he took over the game. Is that a conversation that you have with him at that? I mean, it's probably an easy question. Do you say anything to him, or is he just understanding the moment?
Yeah, Mike understands the moment. He had sat for a little while to rest and get his legs. And again, that's where Nikhil's minutes and Taylon's minutes really helped us, because it kept us solid and we didn't have to go back to Mike too early. So I thought when Mike came in, he looked fresh and he really had a burst and hit a big 3, and then was able to get downhill and get himself in the paint. I don't have to tell Mike much at this point about what's going on in the game and understanding those moments like you're talking about. And to your question about the challenge, Jordan was adamant they didn't touch it, and I trust him.
There was a moment, I think it was like 2 minutes before the half, Lonnie Walker had scored in transition. You called timeout. You were livid.
Really?
Yeah.
What was that call?
You said some colorful things.
Oh.
And I'm just wondering, what was it? Justification? Was it one particular play? Like, what had you kind of worked up?
That play bothered me a lot. Lonnie Walker went 94 feet right-handed down the middle of the lane and dunked it, and not one player on our team picked up the ball. No one talked. We had a couple guys who actually ended up under the basket while he was dunking it in transition, and that's unacceptable for our group. And I think, you know, there are a lot of moments where I have to maintain my poise with the team, and then every now and then I need to let it rip. And I guess that was one of those moments.
Yeah, boy.
What's been your early takeaways with how Jordan's approached this game, with the familiar with the scoring, but also organizing the offense?
Jordan's been great all year. It started in training camp. You know, we had some discussions about him potentially starting, and that would be a different role for him. But I thought in being around him and watching him play and talking to him about the game, it was very apparent that he has a lot more to him than just scoring. His ability to score does draw attention from the other team, though. And so it wasn't a hard conversation. I have not had to beg him to pass the ball. I really just try to ask him every night to take what the game gives him. And he's been awesome at just understanding and picking his spots of when to attack and when to pass. And I think, you know, he can still even get better at it. But he has a really high understanding of how to play the game, and he's picked up our offensive concepts very quickly. So it gives us great versatility. It allows us to not have Mike handle the ball all the time with that first group. And, you know, it's definitely a luxury to have a guy like Jordan who can score with that burst, but also make decisions. Yeah, I just think his decision-making to get his teammates involved can continue to improve. I understand that perfection is not really a thing in basketball. It just doesn't work that way. But every game, Jordan watches the game, watches his minutes, and works with our coaches. And he knows every night that there's probably a couple more where he could have found his teammates. But, you know, I never want to inhibit his aggressiveness, because his aggressiveness is what draws the defense and allows his teammates to get open looks. So it's a balance. Anybody in the NBA that is in a decision-making position, it's hard. It's hard to do that over and over and over again and make the right choice all the time. That's what makes the good players good.
What impresses you most about Lauri's defense?
He understands how to use his size and athleticism. I think he spaces guys very well. I thought there was one in the fourth quarter, a closeout on Troy Brown in the corner, where he just understood how much space to give Troy Brown, and he caught his drive on the first dribble and forced him into a step back. Those are hard positions to be in, especially when you're a taller, bigger player. Being out on the perimeter can feel a little uncomfortable defensively at times, but he just knows how to use his length. He has good foot speed for his size, for sure. And when you couple that with his ability to think and space his opponents properly, he's a tough guy to get around.
More Jazz post game on the way. Lauri Markkanen leading the Jazz tonight with 27 points, gets the hook in the paint.
Man, I love Coach Hardy. I the way that reporter says you use some colorful words and you were livid, and he kind of goes, "Oh, really?" Like he didn't know that. He's a funny guy, but the way that he explains the game and how his players understand, I really like what he said about Jordan Clarkson. What are your guys' thoughts about Jordan Clarkson and what Coach said? Because he had a little bit rougher shooting night, going 2 for 7 from 3-point.
I think he did a good job recognizing he didn't have a shot on the outside and was driving, and especially later in the fourth quarter too. But his relationship with the players is awesome. Just letting them, he knows that, I don't have to tell Mike Conley pretty much anything. He can figure it out, and he's a smart player. And same goes for Clarkson too. So
yeah, I totally agree that we have the front office totally nailed the hire of Coach Hardy 100%.
For sure.
And totally to piggyback off Dallin. I love between Will Hardy and the players that Will Hardy knows or is getting a better feel of when to let them do their own thing and let Mike and Jordan and all those guys just kind of figure it out, and because they will, or to let the language fly and be like, guys, let's shape up. Let's do what we know what we can and need to do, and sometimes let the language fly. But other than that, dude, it was that was great. I love it.
Yeah, I
in the part.
Go ahead.
Sorry, no, and the part where I think this is especially grown men, the NBA players, they don't necessarily love to be told what to do, and for that learning moment for Clarkson, he says he goes back and watches his minutes and then learns from the coaches, and just figures it out for himself that, hey, this is what I could have found that guy better in that situation.
Yeah, I think it's nice to see from Jordan Clarkson because he's been known as a scorer, especially in Quinn Snyder's offense. Kevin, I'm accepting you right now. Sorry, man. Especially in Quinn Snyder's offense, that was really his role with the last team. And he really has been so willing to pass and improve his game. I even think on the defensive end this year, he's been a little bit more focused and tried to go for blocks and using his athleticism. My other question, since this is what the Lakers are doing and it seems to be working better for them, is Anthony Davis, LeBron James are starting, and then you've got Russell Westbrook coming in off the bench and kind of just being his aggressive self and getting the ball more. Is that something that you see would work for Collin Sexton? Because he is a lot like Westbrook, where when he has the ball and is just attacking, feels like he's a bit better of a player.
Yes, I totally see that happening. However, I could also see either Mike or Collin Sexton coming off the bench, because I think both of those guys would be two great options coming off the bench to either settle down and or energize the lineup for whatever needs to happen. So I think more so for Collin Sexton maybe to come off the bench and to really give us energy and to be there either next to Mike Conley or Jordan Clarkson, whatever the case may be. But I think that's a great idea because, for the Lakers specifically, after last year, my first thought was, I don't think Russ is going to like coming off the bench, but I think that's the best thing for them so that he can just go nuclear like he has been in OKC and just let him run the second squad. And obviously they're only 3-4 games into doing that, and they're so much better.
Yeah. I want to welcome everyone that is here. If you want a chance to speak, we like to let everyone speak and share their thoughts. So just request down below. If you don't want to speak, I love reading your comments too. Some people I know are like putting down kids or just don't want to talk and have their voice heard. But I think Sexton I think he just needs like a really big breakout game to kind of get his confidence back. I think he's had his confidence there, and then it's like the next game it's not. So I
agree with you. You know where it's coming though, right?
What?
It's coming against Cleveland.
Oh,
he's waiting for that road trip to Cleveland.
If that happens, that would be so fantastic.
We all know he has that game circled and is gonna just drop 30 points, five assists, 5 rebounds against Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs. Like it's happening.
Yeah,
I would be shocked if it doesn't.
Lauri Markkanen speaking. Do you guys want to hear him speak?
Put the man on.
Yay! Okay, here we go.
I want to hear him fresh in the locker.
Lauri.
What are you looking to do when you're measuring against them?
They're great players, obviously. So you try to make the life difficult for them, and obviously they're gonna score some. And but I'm gonna give my best every night, and I enjoy the competition. So it's great to go against the better players in the league, and so I enjoy that, and obviously it feels great to get the win.
What was, do you think, the turning point in the game to kind of seal the win?
We kind of got sloppy, and I think it was in third. They cut it down, 5 points, 3 points, and then we just kept at it. We kept getting stops, and obviously credit to Nikhil being ready and coming in and made a big plays to end the third and got us going, and obviously kept playing in the fourth after that, and he played really well. So just I think all the guys being ready to play when their number is called and just keep at it. There's going to be stretches that we're not perfect, so we just try to compete as hard as we can and play unselfish and get some stops and, like I said, get out and run. And so it turned into we just kept at it. I know it was a tough stretch in the third, but kind of flipping forward again.
You kind of mentioned ready when your number is called, but there are coaches there where we'll kind of prescribe minutes for guys, and you're going to come in at the 9-minute mark or whatever. Will's been really kind of all over the place with rotations and combinations and just trying different stuff. Why do you think that's worked for you guys, and what is it about Will's communication that's made them fun?
Yeah, I think, and I'm sure it's going to keep changing. Like we talked about coming out, not this game, but the game before, like coming out earlier in the first and then going back in with the second unit. And so we all know NBA season is long, so I think stuff's going to happen. And so, like I said, everybody's ready, and whatever is thrown at us, I think we're ready. And just like I've been saying, the coaching staff been doing a really good job of keeping us up to date before the game. We know if the rotation that's going to change, and so it's been obviously we're 10 games into the year, so it's not going to be. I don't think I still think we're going to keep trying new stuff and see what works the best. But we've been, like I said, everybody's been ready to go whenever they get on the court.
Mike, it always helps when the leaders on your team are playing unselfish basketball. And that's the way he plays, the way Mike plays, the way Jordan Clarkson, who is now in that leadership role in the starting lineup. That's how those guys play.
So you can kind of tell I feel like there's a language barrier with him, and he's not a very confident speaking. It's kind of painful watching him speak with the media, but it'll be fun to see him kind of blossom like Rudy Gobert did as far as his confidence, because I think this is the perfect place for that to happen. I really hope we keep Lauri, because he's such a unique player. The next game, we have the LA Clippers on Sunday, and then we return home to play the Lakers again. How do you guys see that game going in Utah against the Lakers?
Just as good, if not better than tonight.
Why? Why do you feel that way?
LeBron or AD is going to rest, probably.
Yeah, 100%. Well, LeBron has a history and a track record of he's only won once in the last 10 years, twice in the last 10 years, something like that. Somebody, I'm okay if somebody fact checks me on that, but like I could have sworn on some something on the TV, I think it was last season, that LeBron's only won once or twice in the last 10 something years. So I wouldn't doubt if maybe he sits out or AD sits out or whatever. But I really sum up Lakers playing us in Utah with one word: home court.
Yeah, I think that plays a big factor into it, is the home court advantage and our players getting some juice. I also think the fans getting on LeBron and Westbrook and Anthony Davis is going to be a huge part. I know those Lakers games are always fun to go to, because it feels like the crowd's like half and half. But the Lakers play the Cleveland Cavaliers on Sunday. It's an afternoon game, so if they have one advantage, they get to play earlier and then head to Utah before us. Luckily, we don't have to travel anywhere else to play the Clippers, so I'm imagining the Jazz stay there tonight, practice tomorrow, and then have their game later in the evening. The one advantage they have is they're traveling not in the middle of the night where we will be. But I think the crowd's going to be awesome on Monday. I really would love to go to that game. But yeah, I think as far as these next two games, I think they're both gettable. And I think the one against the Lakers at home might be a little more tough just after watching them tonight. But I think our fans are going to pull through for us at home for sure.
Can I just throw something funny that I think is funny about the end of this game? I've seen now like 3, maybe 4 or 5 different like NBA highlight page things talking about the stats that Westbrook has and talking up Westbrook and the whole deal. We totally called, at least I know I did, I'm sure others probably did here on the pod and whatnot too, about all the pages going, oh, Westbrook's going to have a good game. And
We
they're only
did
going to be
say
able to
that
talk about
pre-game.
Westbrook having a good game when we are going to end up winning. And on every single page, well, minus one. I remember once not having any Jazz fans saying, check the scoreboard or something like that, and everybody's been like, yeah, Russ is looking like the MVP. He's looking awesome. Which, don't get me wrong, he played okay tonight. I'll give credit where credit's due to him, but scoreboard.
Yeah,
Scoreboard.
it's good to see him play good again, just because it's been such a bad situation, and he was such a fun player to watch. I know a lot of Jazz fans don't like him, and he's got an attitude, but man, it's fun to watch guys like that have a good game and kind of get back to the way they were playing. But yeah, I'm sure there's nothing about Lauri Markkanen and his 13 rebounds and 4 assists and 27 points. It's
all the Lakers fans are going to go, oh yeah, this was a great game, and then they go look at it and go, oh, F, the Jazz won.
Well,
Dang it.
when I went into a Laker Twitter space like this, they were all hyped up. So they're probably all like, "Oh, this is great. We're on the right track, guys. We're gonna do this. We're gonna win another championship." And Lakers
And
fans
Russ was
just
getting MVP
cracked me up.
chants at the end. Like, come on, guys, you aren't gonna win. What's going on here?
Yeah. So looks like the Blazers beat the Suns by 2. Timberwolves lost again to the undefeated Bucks. That just went away. So hang on, let me check the other scores around the league.
Yeah, Giannis wants to go back to the finals, man. He wants another chip.
Yeah, I
bless him. I want him to get another one.
I would love Giannis to win another one because I love Giannis, and Joe Ingles is on that team, and I would just love to see those guys win.
So I follow the Bucks page. They put up a video recently of Giannis giving the whole team a pair of freak fours. Did you guys see that?
I haven't seen it.
It was so funny. So there's a guy who I can't remember what his name is. Anyway, there was a guy wearing a pair of T-Max, and between Giannis and his brother Giannis, they were trying to pull his shoes off and put Giannis's shoes on, and then it shows Giannis handing Joe a pair, and Joe's like all smiles. He goes, "Hey, my first pair of freaks. This is gonna be great." And then like 2 frames later, you see Joe putting up shots in the shoes, and I'm like, "Oh, this is so wholesome, man! I can't wait to see if Joe ends up actually playing the season."
Man, I miss Joe. I just for his media presence and his jokes, he was just an awesome guy. So. Cleveland beat Detroit 112-88. So they're on fire right now. Cleveland. Indiana beats Miami by 2. New York beats Philadelphia by 2, which is great for the Jazz since we own their pick possibly. The Brooklyn Nets beat Washington handily. Boston beats Chicago. Memphis beats Charlotte. And the LA Clippers beat San Antonio. Oh, and Dallas that's a big one. Dallas beat Toronto by 1 point. So if you guys have seen these power rankings that have been coming out, the Jazz are like not even in the top 10, yet they've beat 3 or 4 teams that are ranked in the top 10. And I thought the whole idea of power rankings was what's currently happening, not like what you think is going to happen by the end of the season. San Antonio wasn't on there either. So it's just feel like I feel like all these media reports, I mean, even with like, man, the media, I just feel like the media is not covering the NBA and like what's actually happening and who has good games.
It's all hype. It's all hype.
It feels like it's like a.
And hype.
Speaking on that, like it's like they won a championship every time they dunk the damn ball. Like honestly, like we dunk the ball and we go about our business. It's like every time the Lakers dunk, I was like, "Oh good lord, here we go."
Well, yeah, when LeBron had that fast break and dunked it and like stood in front of the whole arena, it's like, dude, what do you want him to cheer MVP?
Scoreboard.
Like, what do you want him to do? Like, win a game, buddy. Win a game.
And then there was JC's dunk with LeBron and Westbrook right behind him, and because I think there's a screenshot of that dunk on the Utah Jazz page, and I put a comment on there, and I'm like, Westbrook's thinking, "You're not going to give him a tech for this, even though I wouldn't get a tech for doing the exact same thing." And then Westbrook's thinking, "Man, JC can still get up. Man, I should have traded for him instead of Russ. Maybe I could still pull off that trade."
Yeah.
Dude, he like lifted himself like above the rim. That was crazy.
It's just crazy to me that these guys get off on a dunk, like you said, Dallin, and it's like you guys suck. Your record sucks. Like, since when is LeBron happy with just like getting a fast break dunk and stopping in the middle of the game? He's
got 4 championships and he's just waiting to play with his son. That's all he cares about.
I know that's what sets me apart, like from the greats, is like, dude, I would be ripping somebody if I was that great and as competitive as you supposedly are. Like, you've won 2 games. You guys are losing. You look terrible, and I wouldn't be flexing to the crowd that you got a fast break dunk, a wide open dunk. It's crazy. And
maybe that's why they got Darvin Ham as the coach, because you don't necessarily see Darvin Ham on the side just pulling a Will Hardy and throwing F-bombs when he's like, hey guys, we need to step up here. He's like, hey, we got to dunk. Cool.
Well, and I loved when Coach Hardy said, sometimes I got to let it rip. Like it was perfect because Sexton had his back turned. Lonnie Walker had that wide open dunk. And I mean, Coach was out in the middle of the floor just ripping Sexton. And yeah, I love that stuff. I was going to ask something else. Oh, can somebody look up how old Lonnie Walker is? Because he's a guy that I would really like. I think he's a great point guard. And I don't know if the Lakers would even be interested in trying to trade like a package Mike Conley, Clarkson, Rudy Gay, Beasley.
23. Yeah, he's 23.
Yeah, I just feel like he'd be a perfect piece.
I'm surprised the Spurs let him go, man. Damn.
Yeah. He's a good player, and if he's that young, if you could get him and maybe one draft pick, 2 would be great. But depending on who we give away, for me, I love Clarkson. I would hate to see him go. It's almost like just ride out the season, let him and Conley, finish it out, and then they can kind of choose where they want to go.
See, there's Danny Ainge's play right there. He's fooling us all thinking we're going to end up trading for Westbrook to help the Lakers out. He wants Lonnie Walker and a couple of the other young guys on the Lakers.
I didn't know.
And he's like, I'll give you JC and Mike Conley. I have no problem with that, but I want all your young guys in those couple of picks. That's where I'm going with this.
Yeah, and I've always liked Lonnie Walker, but tonight, playing with those guys and just the way that he handled himself and ran the offense. Man, he'd be sweet if we could pick him up. I don't know if it'd even be possible though.
We do have draft capital, and we're not going to draft all those players. Just saying.
It's funny you say that. I don't know if you guys saw this, but I saw something earlier on Twitter early this morning that showed a trade between us and Boston where it had I want to say it was either Lauri Markkanen and Jordan Clarkson as the one player with like almost all of our draft capital trading for Jason Tatum. And I'm like, I mean, I love the guy, but I don't think I do this.
I don't think Boston's going to get rid of him either.
The funny thing was, the first comment was, no, I would trade all of the picks. This isn't all the picks. And I laughed hysterically.
Yeah, I would be like, are you high? Because like Lauri Markkanen and the draft pieces that we're going to have would obviously like be better than Jason Tatum. But
how crazy would it be if in the next couple of years it's the Jazz versus the Boston Celtics in the finals and Danny Ainge is just sitting back like, I made both of these teams?
That would be...
I'm the man.
Yeah, I was going to say, Danny Ainge would be in his private suite sipping a cigar, planning his next golf trip. That's what he would be doing. Just sipping on some wine or something and just calling up Justin Zanuck and Ryan Smith and be like, all right, well, I don't care who wins because it's a win-win for me either way. I created both these teams. Who wants to go play golf?
Serious. Well, I just want to say we've got 17 listeners. This is a new record for Jazzketball. Go follow us on Twitter if you're not, and you can go to jazzketball.com to re-listen to any of these or just on the Twitter space. But I would love to hear from one of these guys that are new and maybe hear a different voice because Tevin, Dallin, Tajin, Kevin, we're usually always here. I know Julio, you spoke a little earlier, but any of you other guys want to speak?
Racism. You want to jump in here? You've always got some good takes.
Who?
Jazz fans against racism. He's always got some good takes and whatnot whenever I've heard him in Jazz spaces.
Let's go. Here we go. Request. All right. Yeah, you called him out and he's here. The mic's yours.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
There we go. I don't have
there
any
he
takes.
is.
I'm just I was preparing for a season of many losses, and that is not what we're getting so far.
It's
Right.
beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, my wife is sleeping here next to me, so
I was gonna say you sound like you're under the covers and just put your kids down.
Yeah. But I wanted to say she keeps saying like, "How are the Jazz?" And I just kind of laugh because it's just there's a lot of just joy about it. I feel like last year was such a downer, and all year, and it wasn't fun. The team wasn't having fun. The fans weren't having fun. And for us watching, we get to enjoy a team coming together like this. This is a great team.
Yeah, it's fun.
I don't expect them to, keep it up. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But I've just had a lot of fun watching them, and that's been missing for a while now. And
I love that you say that your wife asked you that, because my wife, I was just laying up next to my wife like 10 minutes ago. I told her I was going to, I'm out in the living room now, and she totally was just like, "Did the Jazz beat the Lakers?" I said, "Yeah." And she like did a little shimmy shake in bed. She goes, "That's right."
Yeah, it's always a good day when the Jazz beat the Lakers.
It is, but I think in general, what we're seeing is a team that, like, all these guys want to play. All the talk of tanking and all of the season predictions, I don't think the guys on the team, guys don't want to tank. Like, most players, especially coming into a new situation like this, want to play ball. And
Hashtag F the tank.
yeah, like they're not thinking like, "Gosh, I hope we can help the Jazz with the draft pick." Like that, nobody's thinking that on the team. So we're just seeing a lot of effort. I'm really impressed with Will Hardy as a coach. It's considerably different in some ways from what Quinn had going. I think in good ways. So yeah, I'm just having fun. The thing I told my wife is like, look, if they lose, big. I don't really. It doesn't hurt because it's
what we
all house
expected.
money at this point. Yeah, like maybe a better draft pick. Cool. If they win, wow, that was fun. If they play a hard game and end up like the Mavs game, that was a great game. Whereas last year, I would have been like, "Are you kidding me? Like these guys,
devastated for a week."
Yeah, or maybe just kind of ticked off. But with these guys, man, they're just fun to watch. It's fun. I'm just having fun.
To your point, we heard it in the Lauri Markkanen press conference there. He's like, "I'm coming to play. Like, I don't care who we're playing. I don't care what's going on. I'm coming to play." And it's like, you know what? Why couldn't we have this last year? What is happening? This is wonderful.
Yeah, last year was weird, man. There had to be more stuff going on.
Oh, for sure.
Donovan and Gobert, I think there was just too many egos on that team. I think Donovan wanted to be his team, and then you also got to think about Quinn, the way he set up that team. It wasn't. I feel like Donovan is playing better now with Cleveland because it's like his team, and he's got an ego on him for the future of the NBA. So he wants to, get his own team and kind of have the coach put him on the pedestal and all that stuff.
Yeah, Andy Bailey tweeted out, he said, "This team's more likable than last year's team." So he also stated, in little bold statement, but is this team better than last year's team 10 games in?
Yeah, there was someone saying, there was a tweet that I retweeted where it's like, we had a team full of talent that just didn't have the effort or didn't work hard. And so it goes back to, it's so enjoyable to just watch people work hard. Like it doesn't make you as upset if they lose, because it's like, okay, they tried. And last year it was just rough, man. When you lose that many
expectations, man, expectations.
Yeah, but it's also that we had so
Also
many
effort, though,
leads.
for sure.
Yeah, we had so many leads, and then you just lose it. It's like, well, do you guys just not care? Do you not have enough fight in you? I mean, you guys are professionals. You're some of the best basketball players in the world. Like, what is going on? How do you just keep losing lead after lead after lead? And I think that was the most frustrating thing about last year.
Yeah, I think there was a confidence issue, but I also think I think there was something going on with Quinn. I don't know what, but Quinn wasn't right. And
that's why he stepped down, obviously.
Yeah, a lot of people were blaming it on his hip, and he needed hip surgery. It's pretty amazing how well the Jazz are at covering things up and not letting them leak out.
Because Quinn might come back later on. They don't want to burn bridges.
Yeah, Quinn might be coaching the Brooklyn Nets.
I was going to say, just don't go to Brooklyn. Don't go to Brooklyn. Even though Royce is there, don't go to Brooklyn.
He doesn't want that headache, dude. Come on.
Well,
we were a headache enough already.
Serious.
Rudy being on.
Exactly.
I think Quinn gave up arguably the most stable coaching job in the NBA.
100%. I feel like there are only a handful of organizations who are classily well run. And to be totally objective here, I would dare say Utah. I would want to say maybe OKC. I want to say Phoenix is.
San Antonio,
100%. Portland, probably, I want to say. Toronto, absolutely. Like all those guys, all those teams are absolutely run with class and professionally run. Not to say the other teams aren't, but there's just like a whole other echelon of
more of like a mafia feel to the other ones, right?
Yeah, well, it's like a classy mafia feel where it's like the guys that are with us, and we're gonna do right by them. And anybody who's not with us, okay, whatever, you're not with us, but we're like anybody who's with us, we got you, and we're gonna take care of you.
So to get back to some of the Jazz play tonight, the re-air is on, and Lauri Markkanen just dunked over Anthony Davis. Wasn't it great to see him dunk on all three of their stars? LeBron James first, Anthony Davis, and then Westbrook. I mean, the dude's got to make the All-Star team.
Lauri Markkanen owns all three of those players.
Is he going to be at this level like all season?
I'm going to say yes. I think he's going to get better.
I mean, he told us that in his press conference, so I expect it.
Yeah, I think he's finally getting comfortable. He probably feels good with our organization. He knows that he's the best player, kind of like the go-to scorer. I really think this is going to be his year where he just, I already think he's most improved to this point, but I feel like he can get so much better.
Yeah, I totally agree.
The only thing with Markkanen, I feel like, is still his mentality. He still has kind of like a little bit of a role player mentality. He's got to kind of get comfortable with the role, and if they're gonna later on, like if we make the playoffs, or if we're doing well down the stretch, he's got to know in his mind that he's gonna be the go-to guy. Like,
for sure,
I totally agree with you.
Yeah, and I think that's why I feel he can get so much better, because he's got to get that dog in him where it's like,
yeah,
dude, I can score against anybody. I'm 7 foot. I'm 7 foot. I've got great footwork. I can shoot outside. I can go inside. And once he gets that mentality of he can score against anybody, I think that's when we're going to see the finisher released. And don't you love that Thurl Bailey's starting to call him the finisher?
Yeah, the first time I heard him say that, I was like, yo, that is beautiful.
Yeah, and they're calling Vanderbilt
beautiful.
V8.
I love that nickname too. Oh
yeah.
My gosh, V8's beautiful.
So Vanderbilt hit another 3-point this game, and for the season, he is 6 for 11. He is shooting 54% from the 3-point line. Do we need to have him shoot more?
Did you say 46%?
That'll come down.
54. 54%.
That'll come back down to like 20s, low 30s.
Right, but he's
37, that's great.
He's not taking contested 3-pointers. Usually when he's taking them, they're open and he makes them, which really is we need to, because if the defense has to start respecting Vanderbilt on the 3-point line, then it's going to open other stuff up. And I think that he needs to shoot a little more. Like, give him the green light if you're shooting that good. Say, bro, let it rip.
Totally
and if you
agree.
miss a few,
How did Royce develop his three? Was there somebody here that was coaching Royce to get him to hit that shot?
I think so. I think it was. I can't remember his name.
Johnny Bryant, I think.
Yeah, it was. Well, I think it was a mix of Johnny Bryant and who's the taller guy that's like the right hand man right now? I can't remember his
Alex.
name. Yeah. Alex Jensen and those guys. They were working with Royce to make those shots, and obviously we see where Royce is now. But yeah, I think those guys have probably been working with Vanderbilt. I'm willing to bet.
So we've got some guests listening to our Twitter space.
Lakers fan in here, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say we've got some people in enemy territory. If you guys want to speak, I would love to get your guys' thoughts on tonight's game. I know Miguel is a Lakers fan. I don't know if Aldrin Salcido you're a Lakers fan or not?
Would be a good Lakers fan.
That's Aldrin's car. That's a sweet car, Aldrin.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Take me riding that. Bouncing on 22s.
I want to hear Lakers' opinion on Westbrook right now, because don't get me wrong, he's playing great the last couple of games. Yeah, no, credit where credit is due. He played a great last few games. I'm just curious what they think of him coming off the bench, because I think that's a great idea for the Lakers.
Yeah, I think they're playing great with him that way, and they've won 2 before this.
I'll do a swap of Lonnie Walker for like one of our guys.
Oh yeah. So if you guys want to speak, you've got a request to speak. If not, there's that little comment and down in the right hand corner, you can just text out your comment down there and I'll read it off. But looking at the standings updated, Milwaukee is the only undefeated team. They're 8-0, first team to 8 wins, and Cleveland is right behind them, 1 game behind at 7-1, and Boston 5-3. Then on the other end, Portland is leading the way in the West, which I love to see because of Damian Lillard. That'd be fun.
That man needs to have a lot of success, man. I'd love to.
I just want to see him go.
He needs to do so good and go so deep. He needs a good run.
Yeah, just like Western Conference Finals. If he could just get in the finals game one time, he doesn't even have to win it. Like, I feel like his legacy could be so much better, and he would be so much fun to watch in the finals. But then Phoenix is behind them, which I was expecting them to do a little bit worse than they are. And then the Jazz at 7-3 were the first team in the Western Conference to win 7 games. And we're actually all tied for first place as of now.
Can I give a quick little hot take on the Suns? Their jerseys this year.
Hot take.
I love their city jerseys. They're amazing.
Wait, which ones?
Granted, the Suns city jerseys, where the numbers are like kind of the like sunset landscape that they had last couple of years. Granted, I think the last couple of years are better than the ones this year. However, I do still love the jerseys this year. They're way nice and so much better than ours. Then again, almost everybody's jerseys are better than ours, but I digress.
I tried to get Andy Bailey to hop on here. He's previously from Hardwood Knocks, so he ran a podcast too. See if he can give us his takes.
Yeah, I've invited all those guys: Tony Jones, Andy, and
if you don't see me anymore here soon, my phone's about dead. So just throw that out there.
Mine might die too. So we're about an hour in. This is a longer one, but those guys seem to not respond to any of my tweets or texts or anything. They kind of seem
too good. They might be too good for us.
Yeah, they're a little pompous, or maybe they're, I don't know, like nervous. I know Andy
personally, he's not too pompous. He'll hop on. I'll get him to hop on here.
How do you know him personally? Is he your brother?
No, he attends my ward here in Cheyenne, Wyoming. So
wait, he lives in Wyoming.
Our wives are friends. Yeah, our wives are friends. So
why does he live in Wyoming? He just what? He just writes for the Jazz. He doesn't need to like go to any of the games or anything.
No, he writes for Bleacher Report for him. Yeah, and he goes to some of the games.
Wait,
he goes to
you're not talking about too. You're not talking about Andy Larson?
No, Andy Bailey.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought you were talking Larson too.
Mormon.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, hold on.
Yeah, no, Andy Larson, not him.
I was like, was this some conversion that I didn't know that had happened?
Yeah, I just
Here.
baptized him last week.
All right. Well, it's my birthday's about over. It's 5 minutes to being over. I appreciate spending.
You got a birthday win.
Yeah, it's the best present I could have got. Tomorrow I'm going to pick up a new OLED TV, and I cannot freaking wait to watch games on it.
How big?
I'm not going to tell you guys that because it's like
the size doesn't matter.
Yeah, especially with women, it just doesn't matter. Okay, and
it's OLED, so that's all you need.
No, we're gonna splurge a little bit. So we had a Vizio that was 65 inches. We bought it 5 years ago, and when we bought that one, my wife was like, "This is way too big." And now you go and look at them next to like the 75 and the 85, and they just look tiny. So we went and looked at them tonight, and I was like, "Babe, we really need a 77." Like 85, because once you get to 85, they're like $4 or $5 grand. It's like I'm not gonna like for a few more inches, I'll just downgrade to the 77, which really isn't a downgrade.
That's what she said. That's what she said.
It's about girth, boys.
All women are saying it's all about girth. So,
if you guys want to have a little watch party at my house on the new OLED, we could figure that out.
DM us, man. We need to know where you live at. Let's get that done.
Well, I don't know if I trust you guys enough yet to just shoot out my address, but I'll be
there Thanksgiving week. So.
Also, before we go, just real quick, hey Dallin, do you know Diane Orcutt?
I do. She's my cousin.
Oh, okay, cool. Just wondering.
Yep.
Everybody knows each other.
It's a small world.
Some way, somehow.
Yeah, that's shocking that he knows Diane Orcutt. That's crazy.
Yeah, she's cool.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, get her on the podcast. What are you doing?
She's a lawyer. I don't know if I trust her. No,
all right. Well, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Maybe we need to just do this on the weekends. People don't have to work the next day, so they can stay up till midnight talking about Jazz basketball. But it's the most we've had on. I appreciate it. If you guys go leave a raving review. I saw another one on Apple Podcasts. That's where the podcast listen to most. It's on Spotify as well. Jazzketball.com. You can go listen to it. But comments, likes, all that bull crap helps the podcast run, and share it with your Jazz friends, man. We finally hit 500 followers. We've got 500 downloads on the podcast, and we're only 10 games in. 10 games in the season. So let's build this community up and keep it going. And we will see you guys on Sunday pre-game. They're always my favorite, and maybe I'll try and get a Clipper podcast guest on this one. I haven't been doing that as much lately, and it's always fun to talk to the other team before. So Jazz win big in LA. We're going to win big again in LA, and then LA is going to lose in Utah on Monday. Thanks for listening. Go Jazz. Jazzketball. We'll see you later.